Okay, so now we are ready to add photos or place a photo in our layout. Um, we do have to take an extra step to process the photos before we place them into your layout. And so for that, we are going to go into Photoshop. Um, and so I'm going to click on to Photoshop. And I'm going to open an image. So got a couple images that I wanted to use. Here we go. All right. So for any photo that you want to place in your InDesign document, you will have to process them. So the reason why we process them is because we are learning how to set up something, a flyer to go to print. And you need to make sure that your images are the correct resolution and the correct color mode before it goes into your InDesign layout. Okay, so you need to do this for any image that you want to place, just so you know. And there's a series of steps. I am going to actually upload this PDF for you. It's how you can, the steps and how to process the photos. One is for print and one is for web. They're two totally different environments. So for print, all our photos must be 300 dpi, CMYK, and TIFFs. And so we're actually going to go through all of these different steps in Photoshop during this video. Okay, so I opened up my photo from my camera. And one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to check the resolution. And so to check the resolution, I'm going to go to image size. Okay. And our resolution for print needs to be 300. Okay. So I'm going to double check before I adjust any numbers here. I'm going to make sure that this is unchecked. And I'm going to make sure that the resolution is 300. And then you can see at the resolution that I have, this is the actual size of my image. So I took it with my camera, so it's a nice large size. You will probably see your image sizes fluctuate if your camera is taking it at a low resolution, or if someone has sent you the photo and maybe they downloaded it from like the internet. So just make sure that when you convert it here, that it is 300. And click OK. All right. Another thing that we have to check is the color mode. And here in the file size, I just want to, in the file name up above, current color mode, just as a tip for you out there, is RGB. That's the current one. So we need to change it. So we also go to image, and we go to mode, and we go click on CMYK. Okay, so CMYK is the 4-color color mode that you need to print, because offset printing is a 4-color process. So the CMYK stands for cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. K is black. Okay. We're going to go to File, and we're going to save it out. Currently, this is a JPEG. We can see that right here. But we need to save it out as a TIFF. So you're going to go to File, Save As, And you're going to make sure you know where you're saving your elements to. So I would suggest to make sure that you're saving it in the same place. All right. Um, I'm just adjusting my file name. As you can see, I haven't touched this extension. I'm going to go down here in the format and I'm going to hit TIFF. You can see that it automatically adjusts that file extension. Okay, and I'm going to hit save. Um, for these TIFF options, the only thing you really need to just double check is this image compression. Click on the LZW compression. That's probably the most important one. Any of these, they should be fine to move forward. Click OK. So now it's going to save it. Okay. So just a note on your images for our class. All of the images that you use for your projects need to be taken by you. Okay, so no one is going to be using a Google image. You either have to really think creatively or use the photos that you have taken in your whole lifetime of being digital. So kind of keep that in mind as we progress in the semester. You'll be able to expand your different skill sets. So you might be able to draw the image that you're looking for, but you can also just like think creatively about your backgrounds. You can conduct a photo shoot for your projects, but it has to be images that are original to you. Okay. All right. So now that we've processed that photo, I'm going to go back to InDesign. So you can keep those two programs open if your computer allows you to do so. I know everyone has different computer capacities out there. Okay, so now we're back in InDesign. And to place a photo, you're going to go to File, Place. Okay, we don't copy and paste the photo, but you're going to place it. And so I'm going to go back to where my images are. And I am going to see that little tiny thumbnail of an image. I can click and drag and place the photo. Okay. So I can adjust where it's the placement of it. And I'm going to zoom in for this. Okay. A note for the photos that you will import. The way InDesign treats photos is there's a picture box and then the picture itself. So I just want to show you this. So you can adjust the cropping of your picture if you would like. And this is like the placement of it, no problem. But if you go and so when you try and move your picture box, try and hold it from like the edges, not the middle. If you go to the middle, and you'll see, I click on it and there's this brown outline. Okay, that is actually the image itself in the box. So there's two separate things happening here. There's the actual frame, okay, that we can manipulate and we can adjust. And then you click here and that's the actual image. Okay. Another important thing to note about your images is when you select it, if you go up here right here, you'll see a percentage. So right now, since our photo was good high resolution quality, we're at 33%. So if I increase this, I have until 100. So I can, before this image gets pixelated. Okay, so the hard, fast rule for your layout and for your images is you can adjust it all you want, make the orientation, but when you click on that center point, make sure that this is 100 or less, okay? Not more than 100. Because if you do that, if you have something that's over 100, it will pixelate and it won't look good, okay? Um, for your photo boxes, you do have the freedom to go beyond the page when we go beyond the dimensions of the page and something like bleeds off the page. That's called bleeding. And I'm going to save right out so we can see where we're at. I think I will adjust hello. So it is a little bit smaller really quick. I want it centered. Let's see. I'm going to save. All right. So see what this looks like right now. Right. So now I have a headline paragraph of my image. This is what it looks like all together. So even here I can adjust my picture box. I can adjust my type. Maybe I want it all the way up there. Okay. And then I can continue to work. So I'll go back to my normal mode and I'm going to save. So that's how you process your photos, right? In Photoshop. So we were in Photoshop to process the photos. So they were 300 DPI, CMYK TIFFs. And then when we got to InDesign, we placed the file, the TIFF, right, into the layout. And then to keep in mind, when you click on the center of the photo, this number here needs to be under 100 so it doesn't pixelate. And there's two components of every picture in InDesign. So there's the frame, and then there's the picture itself. So depending on the quality of your image and the resolution, you should be able to place, your photos in a nice, pleasing way. But you just have to make sure that they are your photos for your projects. Okay, so I will continue to show you a couple things of how to export our document or your flyer so you can submit it, and how to embellish it and add a couple new things, to your layout to make it a little bit more yours. All right, so that was a lot, and our flyer is looking pretty good. All right, thank you.